All right, guys, welcome back to another edition of Lawyered Up. I am your host, Jared Moore, and for the record, I am not a lawyer. Today's program is going to be a quick one. Just going to have an update on two cases that we've all been following, the Alicia Strobble tax case as well as the Whitecloud felony case. Okay, so to start off with, if you guys have been following the program, you know that Alicia Strobble had filed for a petition of writ of certiorari with the United States Supreme Court to get her tax case heard at the United States Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court today has denied certiorari on that case, so they're not going to hear it in its present form. I should mention too, there's links to everything I'm going to be talking about in the description of this video if you guys want to go down there and click any of this. We did get a statement from Principal Chief David Hill on the denial of writ of certiorari. Let me pop that up for you guys and I'll just read it to you real quick. Chief Hill says, "We had hoped the U.S. Supreme Court would step in to address an egregiously wrong Oklahoma Supreme Court decision that disregards decades of settled federal law. While the court declined review, this matter is far from resolved. Federal law governing state taxation of Indians is clear and has been reaffirmed repeatedly over time. When a state court ignores that law, it undermines legal certainty and invites confusion and conflict. That is not acceptable for tribal citizens, and it is not acceptable for the state of Oklahoma. We are reviewing all available options, including seeking a remedy in federal court. The Mvskoke Creek Nation will continue to stand up for its citizens and for the principle that the law applies equally regardless of political agendas. Recent attempts by Governor Kevin Stitt to characterize these long-established legal protections as a racial preference are simply false. The United States Supreme Court has made it abundantly clear that tribal citizenship is a political classification, not a racial one. Tribal nations are diverse, with citizens of many races and backgrounds. What unites our citizens is citizenship in a sovereign tribal nation, not race. The state of Oklahoma's ongoing pattern of selectively complying with settled law poses a danger to all Oklahomans. The rule of law cannot be optional." So as you heard there, guys, they still have the federal courts as an option for appeal, because what happened here is, they got a decision at the Oklahoma Supreme Court, and then they went straight to the United States Supreme Court to apply for writ of certiorari. So they could still apply at the federal level and get their case heard in a federal court. We'll see if that happens. The other thing we wanted to do an update on is the Whitecloud case. If you guys have been following that, you will remember that today was Whitecloud's scheduled court date, but the Office of the Prosecutor, the MCN AG's office, filed a motion for an extension of time, and the judge granted that. So Whitecloud's court date, where we're going to hear oral arguments about these motions, has been moved back. Let me pop that up for you guys real quick. We'll take a look at that. So you can see here that there's a motion to extend response date filed by Matthew J. Hall, and it is in support of his motion. He would respectfully show the court as follows. The nation is considering the request of defense counsel and is needing additional time to research the procedures for appointing special counsel. And then it says the nation has consulted with defense counsel and there's no objection to the extension of time. And then if we go down here, again, links to this is in the description of the video. And then it says the due date for the response in the above filed case previously entered is hereby extended to the 4th of May at 1:30 p.m. Now, and I went into the online court records, and her court date is scheduled for the 4th of May at 1:30 p.m. So basically, if you guys remember from earlier coverage, Whitecloud's lawyer Kanani filed a motion to have the MCN AG's office removed from the case and have a special prosecutor appointed. And this basically, this motion for extension of time is saying we need some more time to look into that. Now, I've read a lot of the Creek Nation code. I don't think there is any code that is about appointing a special prosecutor. So that might be what the holdup is to find out, how do we do that? What can we do in that situation? So, we will be covering this case, and we'll be in court on May 4th, barring any more delays. And before I get out of here, I don't see any questions in the chat, but I wanted to remind you guys that on the 22nd of this month, the next status report is due in the Grayson and Kennedy case, so we can get an update there. And also on the 8th, which is Wednesday at 2 p.m., we're going to be having a live wire on the channel where we're going to be talking about the another premiere for Lux Shali with Dr. Kirsten Kunkel. So if you guys are interested in that, tune in there. That is going to be at 2 p.m. in the afternoon, so it's a little earlier in the day. But if you guys want to ask any questions of Dr. Kunkel, that's the time to do it. So with that being said, I want to thank you guys for tuning in and say Mado Hadum Chihichatlis.